to start by building up a Peafowl aviary. That's what we're going to do in this episode. Just kind of tack it nicely onto the good old, our nice little hoofstock area to really finish off this area. So we're going to create kind of aviary built into the side. And yeah, here I was just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted the shape to look like. And then we just kind of merged those and just, yeah, it's a pretty easy build. It still took me a while, of course, but I do make a few mistakes. We'll talk about those in a little bit. You might even be able to notice it now, but it actually kind of works out. Here I am just kind of trying to create a generic structure so that it can be on the grid, because that's something I've been learning, especially from Atom Up, and it's been really helpful in helping me build. Netting is also a pain, but hold on tight, because we're going to get a whole lot of netting slash mesh in our next, well, not the next episode, but the next 4 episodes after that, going to have a lot of it. And then I think actually the one after that as well. We got some really cool things planned for our Indian predators. If you've been watching the live streams, you know, at least in part, but here we are just looking over some of our animals. I don't know why. But here we're just kind of trying to figure out. It's a lot of figuring out, do I think that this enclosure is big enough for Peafowl? If I was to do this in just like sandbox, I'd probably have said yes, but franchise, of course, is like, no, it's not nearly big enough. But I think actually the way that it ends up is really, really good. This is actually one of the habitats I'm most proud of. And I just really think that small habitats make for really, really interesting habitats. So yeah, that's definitely something that I've found. And we're just kind of making these colors match. This is kind of based off of a sandcat enclosure I saw off Zoo Institutes. That was really, really cool. At first I wanted a whole bunch of them, but Planet Zoo said no. So we kind of, this is the habitat size I thought that I was going to build, and then I was like, oh, that's not nearly big enough. And then of course I needed money. You might see a bit of management. I hope not, but you know, it's part of franchise, so I hope y'all won't mind too much. This was me trying to figure out how big it was. I was like, oh shoot, we're gonna have to adjust our expectations for what this habitat's gonna look like, as you often do. But yeah, I think I have already talked about how much I enjoy this enclosure, so let's talk a little bit about stuff that's been happening out in the real world. And I think a good place to put that is, well, the time you're watching this, Frontier's already made their announcement for what we assume is going to be the new DLC. And so I am in the past right now, and I hope y'all can forgive me for not commenting on whatever DLC. There will be tons of content. You've probably already seen my content that's on this. If not, you can go ahead and hit the go look at my channel and find that page. I might also include it in the description of this one once I get to it, but knowing how forgetful I am, that's not likely to happen. So I kept kind of having an issue where I was like, the mesh just aren't lining up, and what's the problem? Turns out I had deleted one too few of the curved pieces, so it actually curves inward, like a little bit of a recurve. That's what you're gonna see here. I was like, I'm so confused, why is this crooked? The reason is because it curves slightly down. And so Atom Up always says, fix what you don't like. And I was like, I don't like it that much. And then I was like, but this is also an opportunity for maybe some slightly more futuristic style architecture. I can make this work. So I decided instead of fixing it, I wanted to make this really work well together and just kind of say, well, you know what? It's a modernist architecture. It's not going to be perfect, or it is going to be perfect, but kind of those interesting shapes would be kind of par for the course. And I was gonna do this, but then I got really tired. I think it's a lot easier with the square ones. And realistically, I could have done this because I've gotten significantly better at it recently, but no. So back to DLC news, or whatever Frontier is going to do. We all assume it's DLC news. I think pretty much everyone thinks it's DLC news, so if it's not, people are going to be really, really ticked. Here I determined I was going to do something a little bit easier, and that is go ahead and put these fence posts in to make it look more interesting. And I think it works out really well, actually, so I'm pretty happy with it. And then I, of course, move everything right into place, and I have to redo all that fencing. But it's no big deal. I do really like this habitat, I think I've mentioned. But DLC news, we're really going to be hoping for some really cool DLCs. Are we going to get them is another question. I would hope so. I think it would be kind of criminal if Frontier did not give us a DLC announcement today. I'm hoping for a trailer. If there is a trailer, you will probably already have seen that I have a first reaction for the trailer, and then I probably have a more in-depth analysis that will just kind of be there because, well, you know, I have as the day that it's coming out, which is the day that I'm recording this, you know, it's just going to be I'm going to be at work when the announcement comes out, so I'll probably just record it on my way about to come home from work, which is going to be kind of weird, but you know, we do what we have to. Here I was testing some different path textures, but there'll be different reactions to kind of what the trailer ends to be, if there is a trailer, or if it's just news. I'll just kind of probably give my thoughts on the news, and we'll see. If it's just them being like, yeah, new stuff coming out at this time, I'm gonna be ticked, but it'll be fine. This here's our airlock. Going to be actually building something that makes sense for the enclosure, but of course Planet Zoo poles were not working well for me, but it ends up working out pretty fine, and I really do like this airlock area. I think it looks really good. So we're gonna put this in here, raise that, you know, just kind of make it look like it all fits. And so just bring those up, and then I'm trying to remember what I did for the walls here. I think I might, yeah, just use mesh. But it works pretty well. And I really like what I'm going to do here, which is going to just take some flower pots and then put them all in, and just, we're going to hang some ivy on that. I was going to put some on the floor, but I didn't want it to be too busy. But we kind of got a concrete footer here, so you can scrape off your feet or whatever. A lot of places have, like, a mat with, like, some soap water in it that you can put your feet in to keep it from harming the animals, but I didn't want to go that crazy with it. But we're going to put some ivy in, just kind of rotate it around. Trying to find what ivy pieces work here. I just wanted it to feel like you were kind of not going into a jungle, but at least a kind of kind of tropic slash a good bit of plants in it. This habitat's going to look really nice in the end, but I do actually have to cut out a good bit of it. I think all of the old stuff still gets in the cinematics, but it just wasn't working for the animals. The Indian peafowl actually doesn't like a lot of foliage, which is frustrating to me, considering they live in temperate forest in India. I would expect them to be good with 100% cover, but they are not, and that's just kind of how Planet Zoo is. Now, I put in a ton of rocks in this enclosure, and I was afraid for a little bit that these just weren't going to work, because they're a base game animal. How am I going to expect them to have a good traversable area? But, believe it or not, the Peafowl actually has a spectacular traversable area. So, we just kind of put in a ton of rocks and just kind of made it look really, really interesting. Again, this is one of the habitats that I think I'm probably the most happy with. This and one of my newer habitats, I would say. I wanted to put a little bit of like there's a sprinkler system or something over there that's kind of bubbling the water. I needed some more money here, so we're on play, but I think I turned it to pause pretty quick. Yeah, we kind of make this rock structure, and then I want to hide the staff entrance a pretty good bit. So that's what we're doing there. Just putting in a bunch of rocks here. Because I really wanted it to look like you're walking through a garden, and peafowls, they're not necessarily the main attraction in this exhibit. They are, but it's not required for the peafowls to be in here for this to be a pretty cool enclosure. Like, if it was just the garden, I think it would be cool as well. But the fact that it has birds in here as well, and you could probably guess that there's other Indian bird species. I'm trying to think of ones that you might keep a bustard in here. I'm not sure. It might be a little too small, but they are ground birds as well. So I'm trying to think of other Indian bird species, but you probably would have some free-flying Indian bird species in there. I wanted to get the peafowl in there as well, because it was just really making sure that they could actually move in there, because I was like, there's no way. This is a base game animal. And then look at that. That's just crazy. So I started putting in more rocks because I was like, well, if they can actually use them, then might as well. It's crazy to me how this works sometimes, because I recently built for the sloth bears and have heard great things about them, but their traversable area sucks. They cannot get on rocks whatsoever. Smallest rock is an inconvenience to them, insurmountable. But here I am, I'm going to create a nest box for them, is the plan here. Or like a roost is the idea. And I kept looking for things I could use, and then I was like, I'll just do it myself. So here we are, just kind of trying to do a realistic nest box, and I think it works out really well. When I walk through this enclosure, you'll see it in its full in the exhibit, and I think it works really, really well. So we kind of use these conservation pieces, and then we'll kind of move it along. I'm kind of using this as a style a lot in this zoo now. You'll see a lot of this kind of stuff in my predator building. I think it makes everything look actually built instead of just like pre-made. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You let me know in the comments, please. I think that it looks good though. This was a little tricky, just trying to figure out how I wanted to place that all together. But not too bad, not too bad. And then I wanted to rotate this on to the back, kind of there's our little nest box, and then a lot of the times you'll see birds have those kind of roosts in there, and we'll put some rope in there so that they actually have something to grip onto. You see this a lot with like birds of prey, but I feel like peafowl as well. A lot of the times I'm pretty sure this is correct. Don't know 100%, but I'm 98% sure that peafowl don't feel safe unless they're roosting. You see the same thing in like North American turkeys. And so I wanted to give them a roost because in the wild they're regularly hunted by things like tigers and the like. So having them being able to get off the ground is helpful. Still wouldn't save them from something like a leopard, but definitely still is something that wanted to give to these animals to make them feel a little bit more secure. And then while we're not in Japan, I feel like a Japanese maple right in the center there looks so good. We're going to go a little bit overboard on the plants, which I already told you that the peafowl do not like that much. But if this was sandbox, I would have kept it just the way it is, because I really like the way that the habitat looks here. We're just kind of creating these areas where there's some space for the plants to grow, just on the path edge, and it just really looks like something you'd see in an actual zoo or botanical garden. So I think we can add Hammerhead Zoological Garden instead of just Hammerhead Zoo after this one. And some of these other habitats I'm building in the near future, I also really enjoy the gardening I've been able to do in them. So hope you'll look forward to that. For this zoo, if any animals do get in the DLC, we will build for them probably as soon as we can. No matter what area they are, I don't know. If it's in like an area that we haven't built yet, where the animals are coming to, then what I'll probably do is I will do some speed builds. I'll do some speed builds, just base, like in a sandbox world, and just make a fun little speed build. I'll also probably have a video where I just really go and kind of talk in detail about what pieces and whatever comes to the game. I know it's going to be an animal pack, so it's mostly going to be about animals, but we'll see exactly how much stuff comes with this update, because there will be a free update as well, I'd assume. So we'll see how that goes. But this was just me adding a little bit of theming. I don't like to go super themed into the enclosures, but I wanted to go a little bit of theming for the Indian section, because it's just such a strong theme. Oh, here I was. I think I added some more Asian water buffaloes in to their enclosure. Need a hygiene station so the guests can interact with them. I'm trying to think of what else we do. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of making the area more interesting, and I renamed it due to some people in stream suggesting it. So like, really, if you want to suggest names and stuff, then go ahead and put them in the comments, because it actually really definitely it's a way for you to interact with the zoo, and I think it's pretty cool. We have a good bit of people show up in stream, and so if you want to learn about animals, talk about the different zoos you're going to, then we talk about that all during stream, and it's a really fun time, I would say. But we're getting near to the end of actually working on this habitat, just kind of putting in some donation bins, education boards. It's just, yeah, I really like the way this zoo is theming together, but I don't know if you've noticed, but these paths aren't meant to stay. So we're going to create some custom paths, yeah, I think it's pretty cool the way that this turns out. We'll definitely be creating a bunch more interesting structure to this, but we're going to use that, and then we're going to just kind of create these. This is our small path variant, basically, but I do end up at the first bit making it in the wrong direction. But you can kind of see how this is going to fit together, and then we're just going to be able to, since it's on the grid, we'll be able to just snap it into place. This one didn't go as well, and in the future I'm going to be able to use a little bit more winding path, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Easy for me to say. I'm going to just use some gravel paths for some more winding areas, and we're going to need some more money in this case, but we're kind of creating our areas here, guests are able to walk around. Everyone loves the orangutans and the little baby. Also, some notes about the cinematic shots for this episode. Cinematic camera is getting laggy if I have it on play. So I have it on cinematic mode, but it is on pause. I have other shots that are on play, but for some odd reason, it was giving me nausea, and I don't get motion sick, so I don't want to cause y'all any pain. I don't want to make anyone sick, so I have the cinematic camera on pause because I think that it will be a little bit easier on people's stomachs. Yeah, so this is just a little zoo management here. We're just renaming animals based off of my Discord, which the link should be in the description. I can't believe this made it into the video, but lots of management, me trying to figure out what the heck is happening with these tours. They're not working very well, so I might just delete them because I was also here, I was like, why the heck does the male have the same size horns as the female when in Asian water bottom buffaloes, I'm pretty sure maybe the wild ones it's less of a big distinction, but at least in the species I've seen, the males are significantly bigger horns, but there does not seem to be as much sexual dimorphism with them. But yeah, tour groups is going difficult for me. So we have 5 Asian water buffalo here, and yeah, we're just kind of taking a peek through all these islands. I think I was describing some of the stuff to some new people in stream, and just kind of trying to get some more money as well. I probably could have cut out a good bit of this and made it a little bit of a slower stream, but you know, we got a good chance to talk about a lot of stuff, so I'm not gonna complain too much, and I hope y'all don't, because I am really excited about these enclosures, and hopefully you're excited to be able to see them a little bit more. Unfortunately, the plants, again, like I said, way too many plants, but I was way too broke to start deleting them because I did not know that taking plants out cost money. We're always dealing with diseases with the capybara. Probably will be doing a redesign of their enclosure at some point. Probably really doing a redesign of all the South American sections and all their enclosures. We'll see when we do that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that sooner rather than later. Like, because otherwise, I'm thinking of doing it when the zoo is done, but if y'all want to see it earlier, let me know, like, because y'all could see how someone could redo their enclosures. I don't know. Let me know if that's interesting to you. This was certainly troublesome. I was quite frustrated, but it works out fine in the end. You'll just see a lot of nitpicking pieces around. And then this is me just trying to line up these at least as much as I can. But they never like to line up, do they? This kind of lines up for the most part. I think I use a wood border here just to make that transition smooth. But yeah, it's definitely tricky. This was me just trying to grab those fences and just make it all work seamlessly. Building custom fences and custom yeah, here's where I found out that the fences were all in the wrong direction. But we're not gonna show all of this just a bit. We're gonna be going right into the cinematics really quickly, and so you'll get to see the whole thing from where it is today. Because I did not finish it on this stream, but I did finish a good bit of it. I just didn't finish all of it. But it is really, really cool in my opinion, so we just kind of bring that all in line, and we're going to be going into the cinematics really, really soon, so don't you worry about that. The cinematics for this, I think, are really, really beautiful. then yeah, we're just kind of making this wood fence kind of fit in together is the idea. So it looks like an actual zoo. So yeah, this is where we go straight into the cinematics. And sorry, I didn't have them added in the voiceover, but that's going to end this video. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below to tell me what you think about this episode. I'll leave you with some nice cinematic tours of this habitat. And goodbye now.